The storm rolled in like an omen, swallowing the horizon in gray, just as she stepped off the ferry. Wind whipped across the dock, tossing rain sideways, drenching everything it touched. The old wooden planks beneath her boots glistened, slick with seawater and oil. Most people rushed for cover, heads bowed against the weather. She didn't. She moved through the chaos like someone who'd walked through worse storms before. A woman in a weathered leather jacket, the kind that told 100 stories of travel and trouble. A duffel bag slung over one shoulder. Boots that clicked sharply against wet timber. To anyone watching, she was another weary traveless, someone passing through, but her eyes betrayed her. There was focus there, a weight that didn't belong to wanderers. They were sharp, like they'd seen too much and still missed nothing. She passed the last pier light and walked toward the naval checkpoint. Floodlights painted the rain in white streaks. The chain-link fence ahead was topped with barbed wire. Behind it, the silhouette of hangars and helicopters. Naval Base Coronado, home to the most elite fighting force on Earth, the U.S. Navy SEALs. The guards noticed her long before she reached the gate. A lone civilian approaching in this weather was strange enough. The way she carried herself made it stranger. She didn't hunch against the rain. She didn't hesitate. "Ma'am, stop right there," one of the guards called, stepping forward, hand resting on his holstered weapon. She slowed but didn't stop. With deliberate calm, she reached into her jacket pocket. The guard's voice rose. "Hands where I can see them." Her hand emerged slowly, holding an old worn military ID card. She extended it toward him without a word. The rain ran off its laminated surface, blurring the faded print. The guard took it, squinting under the floodlight. "Lieutenant Alexandra Hale," he read aloud. "This ID expired 3 years ago." He started to hand it back, but stopped. "You can't use." Before he finished, 2 military police officers appeared from behind him, alerted by his radio call. One spoke quietly into his earpiece, his expression shifting. He looked at her again, studying her face. "That's enough," said the taller MP, his tone tight. He stepped forward and gripped her arm. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for impersonating a naval officer, specifically a SEAL. You have the right to remain silent." She didn't resist. If anything, her shoulders eased, like she'd been expecting this. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead in the interrogation room. The air smelled of bleach and damp concrete. Across the metal table sat Commander Briggs, 30 years Navy. The kind of man who'd seen every trick in the book. "So let me get this straight," he said, leaning forward, his fingers drumming on the table. "You're telling me you were a SEAL?" Her wrists were cuffed, but her posture was straight. "That's what I said," checked, Briggs replied. "We've run every record, every roster. There's no Alexandra Hale listed on any SEAL team. Not then, not now. There has never been a female SEAL in your claimed service years." She didn't flinch. "That's because those records aren't available to you." Briggs gave a half laugh. Convenient answer. She didn't rise to it. Her gaze drifted toward the one-way mirror. She could feel the eyes behind it. Someone higher up was watching. "You know what's funny?" Briggs went on. "We get people like you all the time, wannabes. They read a few memoirs, memorized the jargon, maybe even get a fake trident tattoo. But you," he paused, "you didn't slip once. Every term you used was right. Every protocol. You even knew the cadence we use in comes. That's not something you can Google." Silence. Her calm unnerved him. Hours later, just as the MPs were preparing to transfer her to federal custody, the door opened. The air shifted instantly. A tall man entered, uniform immaculate, ribbons gleaming. His presence was gravity itself, command personified. Admiral Robert Kane. Briggs shot to his feet. The MPs straightened. "At ease," Kane said, without looking away from her. "Remove the cuffs." "Sir." Briggs started, but Kane cut him off. "Do it." The cuffs clicked open. Kane stepped closer, his gaze sharp but unreadable. "Roll up your left sleeve," he said quietly. She obeyed. On her arm, half hidden by old scars, was a tattoo. Not the standard sealed trident, but something older, modified, distinct. A symbol only a handful of people in the world would recognize. Kane's expression hardened, then softened. "That's authentic," he said, after a long silence. Briggs frowned. "Sir, what are you saying?" "I'm saying," Kane replied, eyes never leaving hers. "She's exactly who she says she is." Her real story wasn't in any file. She hadn't been Lieutenant Alexandra Hale when she joined. Back then, she was just Alex, a 19-year-old kid from Detroit who joined the Navy to outrun a dead-end life. Her aptitude scores caught someone's eye. Her endurance, her instincts, refusal to break under pressure, they pulled her into something beyond the regular chain of command. A classified experiment, Project Sentinel, an unofficial SEAL. Adjunct designed to test whether non-traditional candidates could be trained to operate at the highest level. Officially, it never existed. Unofficially, it produced operatives who could vanish into enemy territory without a trace. She was one of them. But Sentinel didn't last. A mission went bad. Black Ops deep inside hostile lines. Extraction compromised. 2 teammates killed. She was pulled from the wreckage barely alive. When she woke in a military hospital, she was told she'd never served. Her record sealed, her name erased. A ghost in the system. Kane dismissed Briggs. When the room cleared, he sat across from her, voice low. "I thought you were dead." "Might as well have been," she said. "Until I found out one of us wasn't." Kane's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" "One of the team didn't die that night, Admiral. Mason Graves. He was taken." Kane's face hardened. "That's impossible." "We confirmed. You confirmed what they told you," she interrupted. "But I've been tracking the signals. He's alive. And they've got him." Kane leaned back, exhaling slowly. This was the kind of truth that could destroy careers. "Why come now?" "Because the window's closing," she said. "If we don't move soon, he dies. And if they break him, every SEAL team on the planet becomes a target." Kane didn't need convincing. He'd trusted her before with lives. She'd never failed. By nightfall, a transport jet roared off the runway. 4 figures aboard: Kane, Alex, and 3 hand-picked operators he trusted completely. No questions asked. Just mission, as the engines hummed. She briefed them in the dim red cabin light. Terrain, entry routes, extraction timelines. It was all muscle memory. She was back in her element. They jumped under cover of darkness. Wind howled around them, the ocean gleaming far below. Then impact, jungle, silence, moving like ghosts. They cut through foliage and patrol lines until the compound appeared razor wire, floodlights, and shadow. Alex took point. Camera disabled. Door breached. A guard rounded the corner. Reflex took over knife. Silence, body lowered to the mud. The others didn't even slow down. Inside, they found Mason, emaciated but alive. His eyes widened. "Alex." "No time," she whispered, cutting his bonds. "Move." They almost made it clean. Almost. Alarm screamed. Lights flared. Gunfire split the night. They ran, fought, bled. A round grazed her shoulder. She ignored it. Every breath was survival. Every step was duty, by the time the helicopter rose from the clearing. Fire lit the jungle behind them. In the cabin, Mason leaned against her. "Didn't think you'd come," he said weakly. "You would've." She replied, "Back at Coronado, there was no debrief, no medals. The mission never happened." Her name went back to being a ghost. Kane met her at the docks before dawn. The rain had started again. "You could stay," he said. "I could get you reinstated. Make it official this time." She smiled faintly. "The world's not ready for an official me." He handed her a small box. Inside was a real seal, trident gold. Heavy, gleaming. "No paperwork," Kane said quietly. "But this says what records never will." She closed the box, nodded once, and walked toward the ferry. The rain came harder, but she didn't mind. Some stories weren't meant for headlines, only for those who remembered. And somewhere behind the storm, a legend returned to silence.